Yesterday we had already covered on the part of placing Buddhahood within reach and the Peaceful instructions about it. We had also talked about the 6 Bardos or the 4 Bardos. The Bardo teachings are really important. In fact, the Bardo teachings were not taught extensively within the Buddha's sutras. Even other schools of Tibetan Buddhism, the Kagyu, Sakya, Gelugpa, Jonampa, and so on and so forth, don't speak of the Bardo teachings as much. The only one that talked extensively on Bardo teachings is Padmasambhava. As we know that the reincarnation or the rebirth in the next lifetime has been taught extensively. However, whatever is in between is only talked extensively in the terma of Karma Limpa, in the hearing through liberation. This is very clearly illustrated in his terma. Other different religions, some of them talk about the heaven or hell, but the intermediate stage, the Bardo stage, is not extensive. So I think when it comes to the Bardo teachings, this teaching that's given by Padmasambhava or Karma Limpa is really important. For that reason, the Tibetan book of Living and Dying that's been translated in 1922, which is in exhibition in the Great Britain Museum. I visited there and took a look at that. This is the very first one that's been translated into English, and I think I took a photo of it. So it's been about 100 years, 101 years till now. The entire world started to look at the Bardo teachings, and this teaching is included in the Nyingmapa teaching given by Padmasambhava. It's very extensive and quite in detail. Phuntsok Rinpoche over here only spoke very briefly about the Bardo of dying, Dharmata Bardo, and the Bardo of becoming. On top of those, then there is also the Bardo of samadhi or meditation, and then the Bardo of dream, which is in between the state of being awake and being completely asleep. So that's the dream Bardo. Also, the Bardo of life between our birth to death. So these are the 6 Bardos, from the Dharmata Bardo, Bardo of becoming, and the Bardo of dying. These are the 3 that's been spoken about by Phuntsok Rinpoche. Phuntsok Rinpoche over here speak very briefly about them, but very clearly about each of those Bardos. I think this is such an important teaching because all of us need to be prepared for death. Because we never know when we'll face death. Sometimes the people would go to hospital and after a checkup, it's already late-stage cancer, the cancer has already spreaded. Then at that point, what would you do? Or after a car accident, just a little bit of life is still within you, and what are you going to do at that time? After people pass away or at the time of a beloved one's death, the family and friends would just cry for 1 day or 2, and then after that, that's it. That applies to all human beings, whomsoever you are. So I think when it comes to the Bardo teachings, I really hope that the lineage disciples of Phuntsok Rinpoche should practice and develop certain confidence at the time of death. I myself, compared to the others, I'm quite interested in this teaching. There are many teachings that are able to not only benefit all beings of all places in general, but also specifically designed to flourish in certain places. This practice manual will, in general, bring great benefit to the whole world. But more specifically, as I told you in the previous lecture, it is meant to be propagated in the Western countries. In the Buddhist cosmology, Bodhgaya is considered as the center of the world, and there are 4 major regions to its 4 directions. This menu is designed for countries to its west. So this has been explicitly pointed out in the prophecy that came with the teaching. It says that although the sun rises from the east, its brilliance will shine to the west. So I personally believe that compared to practitioners in the east, the Western practitioners will gain blessings and accomplishments more swiftly if they engage in its practice. I believe that compared to the practitioners in countries like India, part of which is literally to the west of Bodhgaya, the actual Western practitioners in countries like U.S. will benefit much more from this manual. Well, Phuntsok Rinpoche also addressed to the Chinese practitioner, the Han practitioners. He said that this particular teaching would be very beneficial to the people living in large urban cities. It would be very beneficial for the ones who have scattered mind and then live in large urban cities. Phuntsok Rinpoche indeed had his reasons when he talked about this Dharma teaching. On one hand, to give rise to a sense of joy when they hear this Dharma teaching. On the other, there's definitely reasons behind the way that he propagated this teaching. Because the Westerners, since they really enjoy to practicing meditation and then practice shamatha, that is why they really enjoy. Also, on top of that, they're quite busy in their daily life. That's why they really enjoy such a short and condensed teaching, such as Manjushri and Vajrakilaya. So I really advise those of Dharma teachers who propagate Dharma teachings to the West. It may not be feasible for you to give teachings on extensive Madhyamika teachings because it will be difficult for you to gather an audience. But if you were to give them teachings such as Mahāti, then maybe they will have the opportunity to practice and to attain liberation. When it comes to propagating Dharma to the West, you have to look at their capacity, because the capacity of different beings are vary quite a lot, and you cannot just give them the same teaching. And then Phuntsok Rinpoche over here continue to say that, so I personally believe that compared to the practitioners in the East, the Western practitioners will gain more benefit and accomplishment more swiftly if they engage in the practice. And then he said the actual Western practitioners in countries such as U.S. will benefit much more from this menu. Certainly, this is not written directly in the prophecy and only my personal opinion. Nevertheless, I do feel it is an extraordinary teaching that is closely connected and suitable for all of you. People in developed countries are very busy and have little time to learn and practice the Dharma. Nowadays, not only in the West, people back then, I think in the West they had lots of financial capacity. Also, they're very busy in their life, which is similar to us now. We have lots of things to do every single day. Also, we have cell phone. Now, if we were to surf and flip on our phone every day, we would squander our life and not able to accomplish anything. That is why in Larungar, it is advised that you do not use cell phone, and it is the best to turn them off. Or if you really have to use it for your staffing duties and so on, try not to surf or squander your time on it at all. And then he continues to say, yet as mentioned above, this manual is easy to understand and convenient to carry out, so it meets your needs perfectly. And then the audience laughs again. Some of the editorial members during working on this book, they wanted to take out all the laughs from it because they feel that it's unnecessary. But what's so funny about it? They don't. I'm not too sure if you understand the humorous point or why they find it humorous. Maybe because the capacity of sentient beings are different as well. When you practice this manual, if you understand the meaning of the entire text, that you can engage in its practice easily. I have accepted you as my direct disciples and have entrusted this manual to you. This is the best I can provide for you. If you come to a certain point that you do not understand, you should ask for guidance from a qualified teacher who has its transmission so that you learn the meaning and know how to carry out on this practice. This manual is not difficult and it will not take much time to learn and apply. Only after you fully understand the meaning of every phrase and sentence will your practice bring you greater benefit. This is really not a difficult text to study. Some Khenpo and Khenmos asked whether in our class of engaging in actual practice, if they should practice this together. I'm not too sure because Phuntsok Rinpoche, when he was alive, he asked me to give teachings on it, but I don't dare to give the permission to Khenpo and Khenmos to let them give teachings on this text yet. So I haven't give them permissions. I am looking for various kinds of signs, including certain permissions given by protectors, maybe in my dreams or through my observation. That would be the best. But next year, some Khenpo and Khenmos will be giving the Vajrayana teachings that it is the treasury of Dharma Dhatu. I have given you the permission because through my observation of my dreams as well as the permissions of Dharma protectors, it is permitted. But when it comes to the Peaceful Manjushri, I think it is still too profound. Even if you understand it theoretically, and even if you understand the literary meaning, it is still not enough to give teachings of it, because some teachers, for their whole life, they would not give any teachings on Mahā'ati, because that really includes the understanding or different levels of their own practice levels as well. And now there are many lamas who have received the transmission of Peaceful Manjushri. The lamas present here and many other lamas in India and the land of Tibet are holders of its transmission. There are also many Han Chinese practitioners who have its transmission. From among them, those who possess supreme qualities and are qualified to transmit the Dharma of Peaceful Manjushri can assist you to carry forth your practice in the future and beyond. Well, in general, there are differences of levels of permissions for teachers to give Dharma teachings on the Sutrayana and on the Vajrayana. If you were to give the Vajrayana teaching, you have to have special permission, especially when it comes to the pith instructions. You definitely have to have a special permission to give those pith instructions and empowerments out of the Mahā'ati. The most important lama, or the lama that grants you the most kindness, are the ones who would give you the tantra as well, especially when it comes to the pith instructions and empowerments. So without attaining certain level, one is not permitted to give these parts of the teachings. This now completes the part on the brief instruction on placing Buddhahood within reach, and then the next part is the brief meditation guidance on Vajrayana, the Vajrakilaya Kirkma. Many lamas, after reading this book, they felt that Phuntsok Rinpoche had never given these profound teachings in Larongar even. They said that I've stayed here in Larongar for over 20 years, but I've never heard Phuntsok Rinpoche giving teachings on this. So now that this teaching is put into publication, some of those teachings are now available to you. They're really precious. After finishing the teaching on placing Buddhahood within reach, at the request of the audience, Choji transmitted the pace instruction for visualizing the Vajrakilaya Gurkarma. According to your request, I will provide you with a concise method on how to develop the generation stage of the Vajrakilaya Gurkarma practice. Since the copies of the English version of this practice have been made available to you, I will just explain to you the essential points. Well, it would have been the best if you can bring your sadhana of the Vajrakilaya Gurkarma. Anyhow, I will present the photo to you first, and then let's talk about the lineage supplication. The first part is a lineage prayer entitled Lineage Prayer that swiftly engages the blessings written by Gyalwar Rinpoche. You need to supplicate the lineage gurus successively one by one from the Dharmakaya Samadabhadra, Sabokaya Vajra Dharma, and then Nirmanakaya Pamasambhava to Nanam Dorje Dudram, the indestructible subduer of Mara, from Rinzan Godam, the Vajradhara vulture feathers, to Pama Wanchen. This is a supplication to all my previous incarnations until the present. This is to supplicate to all the previous incarnations of Phuntsok Rinpoche. After that, there is a supplication to the wrathful Vajrakumara and the host of deities in his mandala. You should be able to see it in the text. There are the 12 protectors of Vajrakilaya as well as 28 kings. So first we need to supplicate for their blessings and protections. The first part talks about the lineage that's further away and the close lineage in the middle, and then supplication to the protectors. So you supplicate for their blessings so that all the outer obstacles created by the Mara of sickness, obstructive spirits, ferocious ghosts, and all other harmful forces can be averted. And that all inner obstacles of the negative conceptual thoughts that prevents practicing the clear light great perfection can be pacified. Eventually, through their blessings, you supplicate to attain the direct realization of the meaning of the generation stage, the completion stage, and great perfection. Next, you take refuge, generate bodhicitta, and make samaya vow. When you're practicing it yourself, you should recite the lineage supplication, and then 3 times of taking refuge, 3 times of making aspiration, and then the samaya vow part, you could read it or not. If you do, then there's just one sentence associated to Vajrakilaya, and then you take refuge in Vajrakumara, the deity whose manifestation of your own awareness as absolute wisdom. To liberate all sentient beings from the ocean of suffering, you generate bodhicitta. You embrace the samaya vow with the commitment to keep the samaya of all wrathful deities in terms of knowing what to accept and what to reject. Here, Vajrakumara is another name for Vajrakilaya. This part is to make aspiration, where you make the vow to liberate all sentient beings from the ocean of suffering. And then the next part is you embrace the samaya vow with the commitment to keep the samaya of all wrathful deities. And then the actual generation stage begins. First, you need to arouse the view that all phenomena are empty, and then abide in that view. Next, out of the state of emptiness, visualize that in an instant, you appear as the great, glorious Vajrakumara, king of wrath. That is the Vajrakilaya. Later, I will show you the photo.
观想那个金刚觉啊，就是那么如何这个观修迹象这个
How
金
do you
刚童子
visualize
呢
the glorious
还
Vajrakumara
没
then?
显出来吗？
Where is the photo?
显出来了吗？看得到吗？
Is it on the screen?
看到
Can you
了
see
是
it?
吧？
Yes.
然后就是观想，就是它的身色呢，
He
就是
is
黑色
dark
的，
blue
一
in
面二臂
color
的，
with one face and two
双
arms,
手这个
and his
就是
palms
那
are
个手
pressed
掌当中
together,
就是持着什么呢？就是戳着这个
rolling
金刚
a
诀
purba.
就是对，就是谢谢，看得清楚是吧？那个金刚诀法王的那个跟那个其他的有一些有双印象
This
的，
one
这
is
个是
a little
不是
bit
双印象
different
的？雷若
because
朗
this
巴也
one
有一个
is
金刚
not
诀的
in
这个
union.
诞生修法，就是法王的
Lira
这个
Blimpa
金刚诀是一
also
个诞生修法，
has
就是我们今
another
天
one
看
that
完了以
is
后的话
the
呢，就是
Vajrakilaya in union.
我
This
看
one's this photo is different.
明天就
So
是后面吧，
tomorrow-
明天今天可能来不及，明天你们就是带
Well,
上那
since
个
we
金刚
don't
诀
have
的修
enough
法，
time
就是我们
today,
后
tomorrow
面
I
呢，就
think
是
it would
根
be
据
the
这
best
样的
for
这
you
种
to
念诵，
carry the
我
satna
们
of
这个后面
Vajrakilaya, and
念
then
完
we
那个
can practice it
什么
together after
提前许愿之
the
前的话呢，
King
就
of
是圣诞节以
Aspiration.
后我们就一起念一遍，就是就简单的就是前面
After
前面的皈依
Sunanduyi,
和
and then
发
we
心和
will
然后那
practice
个
this
祭祖，
together.
然后
We
从那
will
个
practice
发
it
生
to
起地
all the
开
way
始，
from
一直到后
the
面的
taking
话呢，一个
refuge to
赞颂和回向
generating
文，就是简单的这样修一下，就
aspiration,
大家都会修了，就是这
generating
样的。
bodhicitta,
然后
and
观
then
想的
making
思维就是这
aspiration,
样
and
的，
then
它是
the
虚度
actual
呢就是梦
practice.
里就是这
So
个世事，
at the
还有呢
time
就是湿
of
度你八
making
识，还有身体的话呢就是
of
人皮啊、
practicing with
相
the
皮啊，就是
visualization, you should
虎皮啊，
visualize
就是这
him
些。还有身
as
上呢就是以
dark
干
blue
的
in
湿
color
的新
with
鲜
one
的
face
人
and
头
two
呢
arms, and
装
his
饰这个
palms
身
are
体，
pressed
就
together,
观成的
rolling
一
a
样，就是
purba.
空
He
过
is
的这种
adorned
现
with
象。
10
那么
haruka
双足以大力士
accoutrements
的这
and
个
8
跨越的方
ornaments
式来
of the
站在
eternal
莲花
ground. More
日月
specifically,
中
wears
间
a
的一
human
个
skin,
男
a
女
tiger
木
skin,
女
and
这
an
个上
elephant
面，
hide,
然后玉胸
and
中
is
的这个
ornamented
智慧
with a
慧眼
mala
当
of
中就是
dried
这样
human
明
skulls,
冠，
a
就是这
garland
个
of
这个
slightly
白金刚的
moist
话呢，大家
human
就是
skulls,
修的
and
时
a
候就
necklace
是
of
应该
freshly
会
severed
这样
human
修，
heads.
然后就是念诵
I
这个咒语，
visualize
就是念诵
Vajrakumara
咒语的
in
时候
this
呢，就是
terrifying
我们
form.
就
He
是
stands
像
atop
就是
male
慢
and
着咯咯
female
啦，然后
rudras
慢慢
on
地
the,
咯咯啦，
the
然后它这样念，
middle
然后
of
一切这个
a
圣像呢，
lotus
就是就
sun
变成
and
这
moon
个
discs
普巴金
with
刚，就
two
是
legs
本尊。
spread
然后
wide
一切
apart
声音呢，就是
in a
变成普巴
stride
金刚
posture.
的
He
这个
is
声音。
radiant
一
within
切
the
妄念
expanse
呢，
of
就是都
blazing
分别
wisdom
是智
fire.
慧
You
的
will
有
need
无，
to
在这
clearly
种间接的
visualize
境界
yourself
当中
to
呢，
appear
安
in
住
this
观
way.
修。
While
然后
reciting the
接奏的
mantra,
时候，就是最后
maintain
那
the
个接
view
奏
that
的时
all
候呢，
appearances are the deity, all
心想言
sounds
一次
are
三
the
个为
mantra,
主
and
的
all
所有三
conceptual
人呢，
thoughts are
就
the play
成
of
为
wisdom.
获得这
Remain
个
in such a
为梦
state
金刚
and
童子
recite the
果位
mantra.
之因
When
而作
concluding the
回向，
meditation
并
session,
且
we
呢，就是
dedicate the
思维
merit
言
by
一次，
reflecting, may the
精
virtue
进一次
accumulated
的
in
深
this
深生
practice
起次
together
第
with
啊，
all my
生
virtue
起次第和圆
become
满
the
次
cause
第，
to
书
actualize
法
the
的善
fruition
根为
of the
名，
wrathful
恒时
Vajrakumara.
消除
Then
释
recite
放
the verse
一
of
切不
auspiciousness and
迹
contemplate by
象
the
的灾
power of
难，
the merit
原
generated from the
三藐
diligent practice of
大
this
光
profound
明普
generation
照
of
三
completion
余，这就
stages.
是
May
这个
all
诵吉祥文啊，就是
inauspiciousness
后面
and
是这个
disaster throughout the
诵
10
吉祥文
directions
就
be
可以。如是已
constantly
经
pacified,
把你们所
and
种的这个
may
法本
all
上的
the
香的金
brilliance
刚
of
觉的
virtue and
整个引
goodness
导人
shine
呢，就是
throughout
已
the
经
three
做了这
realms.
个
The
解释
guidance
清
for
楚
the
了
manual
啊，
of
就是法王就
Vajrakilaya
是
Gurkirkma
已经
practice
把这
now
个
has
金
been
刚
clearly
觉的话
explained
呢，
to you.
也大家想就是法王这个亲自
So
呢，已经
now you
跟我们
should
阐述一样的文字上是
contemplate
这
it
样
in
的，
such
应
a
该以
way
后可
that
以继
you
续
have
修。
directly
这个比
received
较
it
简单，就是
from
大家
Jigme
念一下
Phuntsok
一遍，就
Rinpoche.
是一
This
回，
is
然后
really
就多
quite
念，
simple.
大概
Tomorrow we
如果
will
时间不
practice
够
it
的话呢，
together.
念个100遍呢，就是心中，
If
然后
you
就是
can
做回向
practice
就可
the
以。
mantra
那么下面
for
就开始
100
离开这
times,
个落基
or
山
if you
了
have
啊，
more
就
time,
都有
more
点伤
times,
心，
that
就
would
是我
be
好像
really
讲
good.
到这里的时候有很多
Farewell
的这个
prayers.
回忆
At
啊，
this
就有
time
很
when
多的
I
这种
talk about the
这个
farewell
就想
prayers, I
念
feel a
呐，就
little
是
bit
就想着
saddened.
这
I
个
feel
法
this
王啊，就是想
bittersweetness
着这
of
个
remembering Phuntsok Rinpoche and remembering that place, and remembering what happened back then. At this point, Yijin Norway had completed all the Dharma activities of conferring empowerments and giving teachings and practical guidance at Rocky Mountain Center. At the end of the last session, he offered his final prayers to all the students. Now, my time here is approaching to its end. I'd like to thank all of you at the center for your great kindness to me. You invited me to this country at the beginning and then covered the expenses for my trip and hosted me with the greatest hospitality. Like this gentleman, the scary, full-bearded David, He greeted me the moment I got off the plane and has been taking good care of me and arranging everything for me wholeheartedly. Well, Phuntsok Rinpoche over here extended his gratitude, thinking about how Phuntsok Rinpoche extended his gratitude to the center and to the people, and then reflecting upon ourselves. Do we show our gratitude to those who give us and shown us kindness? Phuntsok Rinpoche, being such a great Lama, going to centers and bestowing such precious teachings and empowerments, he still extended his gratitude. Even if we were to receive a simple meal from others, even if we receive any kinds of help from others, big or small, we should extend our gratitude to them sincerely and wholeheartedly. We should know how others being kind to us, and then we should also have the skillful means to express that. We shouldn't just remember that within our hearts but not express it at all. We should express it to the others so that they can feel it. Phuntsok Rinpoche over here specifically extended his gratitude to David. He said that the scary full-bearded David. Scary over here is not to look down on him or anything like that, or rather it was just a very kind and joking tone that Phuntsok Rinpoche said. The practitioner David took really good care of him all the way from the beginning. I really wanted to get in touch with him and couldn't. I'm not sure if he still remembered me. Phuntsok Rinpoche then continued to say that David greeted me at the moment I got off the plane and has been taking good care of me and arranging everything for me wholeheartedly till now. The end of this till the end of this visit, I'm deeply impressed by your great delight and faith in me. Thank you so much for serving me so well, even finding doctors to treat my health issues. All of these have caused you so much trouble. And this is no other way. There is no other way for me to repay your kindness. I can only pray for you sincerely that in all your future lifetimes you will experience perfect peace and happiness. Phuntsok Rinpoche at that time extended his heartfelt gratitude to all of them, and we should also follow the example of Phuntsok Rinpoche and show our gratitude to those people who had been kind to us. There are people who probably didn't do much to actually help you, but if they were to show kindness and care to you wholeheartedly, even that, I think you should know their kindness, and you should also pray for their happiness and peace for their future as well. Also, we do not just pray for those who have been kind to us. We need to pray for those who created harm to us as well. How do I offer my prayers for auspiciousness? First, may every managing member in your Sangha community attain high realization and a great virtue and enjoy universal auspiciousness. Second, may all Vajradhatu Dharma centers thrive and be fully endowed with success and prosperity. This is the second part of Phuntsok Rinpoche's rededication of merit. The other day, I wasn't too sure about the current condition of this center, but then I heard that this center is still surviving, though that at the very beginning it went through certain difficulties and claimed bankruptcy at first, but it is still surviving over there. The third one is that may incomparable experience and realization arise in the mind of each and every one of you. Fourth, may you enjoy longevity, health, peace, as well as perfect happiness in this life. And the fifth one is, may we be able to meet again and again in this life and so I can teach you, and you can listen to the sublime Dharma. When this life comes to an end, may we be reborn in Sukhavati, the western land of bliss, where we will reunite at the feet of Lord Buddha Amitabha and enjoy the profound and vast Dharma. Unfortunately, Phuntsok Rinpoche later passed into parinirvana, but he compassionately at the time made such rededication of merit. His language is so beautiful and so graceful, and it just gushed out of his wisdom. And when we finally put them into words, into written words, we can see that all the prayers for the happiness of this lifetime and future lifetimes are all included. Choji sealed the prayers by reciting the mantra of interdependent origination and verses of auspiciousness, and afterwards he made aspirations and dedication. With that, the Dharma activities at Rocky Mountain Dharma Center were perfectly completed. We will look at the fourth stop. I looked into the fourth stop, which is the teaching of Jetsun Nyingtik. But I think before the actual part of Jetsun Nyingtik, there are a few classes that we can study, the preliminaries. So next class, maybe we will go to the fourth stop, Napa Valley.